Hey, it's nutritionist Chris here. I'd like to talk to you today and offer some strategies on eating at the buffet without feeling terrible afterward. Now, this isn't me as a nutritionist, obviously, telling you to go to the buffet and to, gorge and eat all you want or anything like that. However, my style as a nutritionist is not to tell people to flip their lives upside down and be uncomfortable forever so that they can look good. I understand that sometimes there are occasions where you go to the buffet. Maybe you're on vacation and you want to go to the buffet. Maybe you're invited to a birthday party or some other family gathering at the local buffet. I believe you should go and you should enjoy yourself. I'm going to try and tell you how to go and enjoy yourself without the inevitable feeling of completely overfull and tired and maybe even guilt afterward. So, first thing to keep in mind are some of the principles that I share with all of my clients with regard to digestion. Remember your rules of food combining when you're at the buffet. Starchy foods and protein foods don't mix. Okay, so if you grab a plate that's half meat and half pasta, you're going to immediately have indigestion and you're going to feel terrible for the rest of your visit. Okay? And you also want to remember the principles of my balanced meal model, which involves any meal that you eat being about 70% green vegetables. Now, it's easy to do that. I'll tell you what I usually do at the buffet. First thing is, you'll notice a lot of times they set the buffet up with the really starchy, overcooked, deep-fried foods at the beginning. That's because they want you to eat that stuff first and get full and bloated and feel satisfied before you get to the more expensive stuff. So I guess this video is a little bit about how to get the most of your bucks as well at the buffet. This is what I normally do. So this advice is not going to pertain well to the vegans, but I'll try to touch on that a little bit later, what they might do. Obviously, if you're a vegan, you're not going to end up at too many buffets anyway. Well, maybe you will. Anyway. What I normally do is I like to, my first trip out to the buffet, I like to start with my protein. So this is just my personal preference, but I will typically go over to the area where they're slicing it's usually some sort of beef, and I like to ask for it as rare as possible. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll take that big hunk of beef and they'll go right to the middle and cut it in half, and there's your nice rare, it's cooked, but it's rare. That is going to be the most easily digested meat. So there's my protein to start my first round with. However, I also stop at the salad bar on that first run, and I have a large amount of salad. Okay, try to stay away from the white dressings. Sometimes I'll go with the Caesar, because whatever. If I'm out at a buffet, it's some sort of special occasion, I'm going to enjoy myself. But if the majority of my plate is salad, and there's a bit of salad dressing on there that's not the best, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, it's a lot better than if I, ate nothing but deep fried and breaded chicken or something like that. Or pizza. All right? So, first round, a lot of greens, and some meat. And I may, sometimes they have blanched spinach and stuff like that. Point is, you want a lot of greens. You want to fill up on those greens at the beginning because they're not actually going to make you full. They're going to satisfy you, but they're not going to make you feel over full. And they're going to give you a lot of nutrition. Get that in first. So sit down and enjoy that. Enjoy that plate. People don't generally rush at the buffet. You got lots of time. Sit down, eat it. Enjoy it. Have some tomatoes with that salad. The acid in tomatoes will help you digest. If you're into hot stuff, hot sauce, hot pepper flakes, put that with the meat as well. That's going to fire up your digestive system and help break that meat down quickly and efficiently. So now you've got what is essentially a full meal in you already, just with that first run, but you're still at the buffet and you're paying way more for your meal than you would normally pay for a normal meal, so you want to get your money's worth. Well, the next time you go up, firstly, don't rush up. Talk with the people you're there with. If it's a special occasion, enjoy it. Talk. Digest. Then when it's time to go up for your second run, again, make sure you have some greens. You've already had a giant salad, so you don't necessarily need to do that every single time. But maybe you want to go for, if it's say, some sort of an Asian buffet, you might go for since you've had beef the first time, you might go for like the broccoli stir-fried beef. That way you're adding another green in there. It's a new taste, it's a new flavor, something to enjoy, but you're not switching meats. Switching meats can be problematic from a digestive standpoint. Different meats require different acidities in the stomach. And so if you have beef and then you put in some chicken and then you put in some pork and then you put in some fish, you're not going to feel good, straight up. You want to enjoy this food and feel good at the end. So second run, maybe go with another green. But notice I'm still staying away from the starchy stuff. I'm staying away from the breads. I'm staying away from the pastas. I'm staying away from the rices. Now, I don't know how many times you're going to go up. Everybody's different. There is such a thing as too much. However, what I typically do is, again, personal preference. For whatever reason, I like to save at the end a slice of the buffet pizza. For whatever reason, I like that pizza. That's my dessert. It's a little bit of starch at the end. By now, I've had lots of greens and I've had some meat. Now, if you decide you want to have some chicken after you had some beef, just wait a while. Wait like a good while. Let it digest a bit and then maybe have some chicken. Try to stay away from the deep fried stuff if you can, because the deep fried foods are cooked at such a high temperature that they're really rendered undigestible. Now, the dessert table or the dessert bar. What do we do about that? This is the only part of this suggestion list where I'm going to say you might want to just abstain. Okay, if you've got a meal in your stomach, especially a pretty large meal like you probably have by now, after one or two or several trips up to the buffet, what you do not want to do is throw dessert on top of it. That sugar on top of that meal is going to shut down your digestive system because your body is going to launch the immune system to fight the sugar and shut down your digestive system because it thinks there's some sort of foreign invader coming in here, because white sugar is not something that exists on the earth. It comes out of factories. Your body doesn't recognize it as food, so it launches your immune system to try to fight it. So all of a sudden you've got all that food in your belly and you're just going to feel suddenly extraordinarily full. Having dessert after a buffet meal is the difference between feeling, whoa, I'm satisfied now, and oh my God, do I feel terrible. So skip the dessert. Like I said, I usually have one of the little slices of pizza. That's my dessert. Or maybe, my third trip up or something like that. That's when I'll have some sort of rice or something like that. So that when you look at my entire meal, if you were to put it all on one plate, which of course by 3 trips to the buffet would not fit on one plate, but anyway, if you did, you'd see that the amount of rice is pretty small compared to the amount of greens and beef. So the starch and protein are not going to cancel themselves out in my stomach. I'm still going to have energy from this meal. So I would say either skip the dessert, or you know what? Who says you can't have it first? When you first get to the buffet, instead of rushing up and digging into your favorite item, go have your little piece of cake or your little piece of pie or something at the beginning. Let it sit for about 20 minutes. Then go up and eat. You've still had your dessert. If you feel like you want to get your money's worth of dessert, you've had it. You just had it at the beginning. Trust me, if you have that little bit of dessert at the beginning and you let it digest for about 20 minutes and then go on to the rest of your meal and then enjoy that meal to your fullest extent, you are going to come out of that buffet feeling fine. You're not going to feel terrible. You're not going to feel guilt. You're going to feel good. You're going to wonder why you didn't do this before. So to sum up, start with your proteins, wait until the end for a little bit of starch, and skip dessert or have it at the beginning. Now, very quickly, if you're a vegetarian, you're mainly going to be on the starch side anyway. So none of this really applies to you. You can go ahead and have whatever you want because all you're going to be having are starch-based proteins anyways. You're going to be getting chickpeas and things like that. You're not going to be having any animal protein.
If there's any nuts and seeds involved, you might want to have those first. I hope this helps. Trust me, you're going to love the buffet even more. A lot of people feel really bad when the buffet is coming up. Oh, what am I going to do? My diet. You don't have to worry about your waistline at the buffet so long as you enable your body to digest the food. Thanks. Pass this on if you think it's helpful, and have a great day.